Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I kind of just want to talk about some things that are on my mind. This is gonna be just one of those videos where I just speak candidly, probably not gonna be any editing. And I'm filming on my laptop, so if the quality is kind of weird, I'm sorry. But I just had some things, some thoughts, ideas on my mind about the age of Aquarius. So that's what I want to talk about. And it's pretty relevant because, as most of you know, we are in the age of Aquarius. And there are a lot of mixed opinions about when the age of Aquarius actually began, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I want to talk about is this idea of individualism and collectivism that I feel like is very prevalent and is like the main theme of this age of Aquarius that we are living in right now. So if you don't know what individualism and collectivism are, I'll try to briefly explain it. Basically, it's like a cultural mindset, or like a way of living, a way of a perspective of life, of living life between different cultures. So Western societies live by individualistic perspectives, and Eastern societies, cultures, live by collectivist perspectives. So individualistic societies. So if you live in America, we're like an individualistic culture. Wow, those words are kind of hard for my mouth. But basically, these cultures, these societies, the perspectives, they want to promote individual identities, and it's very self-oriented. It's not that Western cultures are more selfish, because that's actually not true. It's just we view success and happiness and satisfaction through personal achievement. When we achieve personal, specific goals that, have to do with our own self, our own life, our own identity. So there's more of an ambition. It's more self-oriented ambition. It's not really looking for, help, collaboration from other people. It's all self-focused, self-driven, self-motivated. And collectivist cultures, on the other hand, Eastern cultures, they promote harmony. They promote interdependence. They promote cooperation. They promote working in groups. And it's less, in those cultures, they don't stand out. They don't want to stand out the way that people do in individualistic cultures and Western cultures, because they seek to be a part of a group. They seek to kind of blend into a group. They find their identity through belonging to something. So there's more like kinship. There's their family ties are a little bit closer, but again, there's not a lot of like individual expression. But again, this is like an overview of the differences of the cultures. This doesn't specifically say, this isn't very specific to like a culture within these two different perspectives, cultures. This is just kind of like an overview, but I feel like the reason I want to talk about it, I'm sorry if that was like went on forever, but the reason I want to talk about it is because I feel like it's kind of what the age of Aquarius is about. Because if you think about Aquarius is about technology and connections through all types of people, right? I feel like the way that we are progressing as a society, this is just my perspective, because of technology, because of social media, because of all these things, the fact that we can just like Google something and it's the information is at our fingertips, the fact that people can like just write a sentence and press send and it will deliver the message to a person or to their social media platform, like, you know, their Twitter feed or their Twitter page or whatever, all of that stuff is very Aquarius, but it's the Aquarius desire to connect with people, to form connections with people. And I feel like the age of Aquarius is kind of teaching us to adopt the collectivistic cultural perspective. Because, I mean, again, I'm sure a lot of people probably agree with this, but it's just, if you look at it, everybody, you know, is on social media in some way, even if you're not super like on it all the time. Everybody has some kind of like platform and a desire to connect with people, and that's what's great about the age of Aquarius, because we're driven more to do this. And if you also think about, we're more focused on the rights of people, we're more focused on trying to find similarities, commonalities between people so that we can be more united. You know, like the feminist movements, the more like civil liberties, civil rights movements, like with racism, discrimination, all that kind of stuff, and sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and even like veganism, animal rights movements, all that stuff, and also gender rights movements like the LGBTQ plus, you know, there's so many different terms now to identify with. There's so many different things out there now. You know, we're trying to kind of connect everybody together because we're realizing now with the age of Aquarius that everybody is the same. We're all human. And even people, even creatures that aren't human, they're still important, you know? That's that humanitarian outlook that Aquarius is about. And even beyond that, it's also like problems of people, you know, people who are of a lower socioeconomic status, minority groups. Mental health has kind of become a big thing now, which is good. All of these things are so good and so positive, and it's how we are connecting with each other through this age of Aquarius. It's embodying more of a collectivistic perspective. And there's also other communities. There's like self-help groups, self-help books. There's spiritual communities now, you know, the new age kind of movement. And there's this need to promote this, not a need, but there's a very strong desire to promote this like spiritual type of perspectives. And in the collectivistic perspective, it's that time is circular. That's what they believe. I mean, I don't know specifics, so if someone wants to share, you know, if you're a part of these cultures, if you want to share, I would love to hear, like, you know, cultural teachings or traditions that you have or that you were raised in or whatever. But in Eastern perspectives, Eastern philosophies, they don't view time as linear the way Western perspectives, philosophies do. In individualistic cultures, we are more geared towards the future, like looking at the future, because we believe things will progressively get better. And in Eastern cultures, they view time as linear, as a circle. So it's not so much looking towards the future, it's more so looking at the past and how that can kind of predict or denote what will happen in the future, because they believe that it's just cyclical, you know, things happen and they can come again and happen again. It's that kind of perspective. And what I've noticed that a lot of spiritual communities, or, you know, the New Age movement, all of these like spiritual groups or whatever, they are kind of understanding more of that. They're understanding that, and that's what their big message is. It's this idea of time and of cycles of life. So that's a lot of what we are learning. We're starting to incorporate those perspectives and applying them to every single person. So if you read a lot about, the ages, like the astrological ages, it's going to kind of also talk about the opposite of what age, is in question, the one that you're talking about. Because the astrological ages manifest themselves because of work done with the opposite sign. So how do I explain this? Okay. This is just, again, like, these are my thoughts. The way that I see, like, in our contemporary society, our contemporary world today, and the age of Aquarius, and the way that it's, like, manifesting for us, is there's a need for the Leo individuality, the Leo individual self-expression and self-promotion, creativity, to be broadcasted and displayed on the Aquarius social media connecting with everyone platform. And I think that there might be, especially in Western cultures who aren't really used to embodying or adopting, the Eastern philosophies, there might be like this underlying current or theme of competition, because Leo, wants to shine, be the biggest star, and everybody wants to kind of influence now. Like, now there's like this term of like an influencer. You have a following, you have people who are listening to you, taking in your information that you're putting out. It's a form of self-expression, and there might be like themes of competition because Leo, again, wants to be the biggest star. So that could kind of be like something that we all face, or needing to have our own individual truth, whatever group that we're a part of, be like the end all be all, like this is the only thing that's important. But I think that that's something that we as a society, especially because it's the age of Aquarius, we're all going to be like collectively feeling this and going through this. That's something that we'll have to work through, I guess. But on the positive side, I think that the opposition of Leo with the age of Aquarius is kind of more, it's pointing more towards a need to find your individual expression within the collective framework of Aquarius. Because as a society, if we all start, just completely trying to eliminate the, labels or just boxes that we've created, labels of, I'm thinking like of gender or of sexuality, things like that, or of, this person is this race and this race. Like, I feel like there's more of a movement of eliminating that kind of stuff. We might lose what makes every individual unique. Aquarius is also about, our uniqueness. What makes us individual? That's the axis of Aquarius and Leo. The axis, what it's all about. And the 5th house is about your creativity. And that shoots up into the 11th house and connects you with people who either share your same creative drive or who complement that, who not complement it in the way like they promote it, but they promote it with their own individual expression as well. It connects people together. And So I think it's just interesting to think about, because I think more people want to promote themselves nowadays. More people want to be entrepreneurs, start their own businesses, develop new ideas, start YouTube channels, self-publish their work and their writing, share their art online, create like a brand for themselves. And I think that that's awesome. And I think that's the point of it, because we have to find our individual voice within this collective. Because you'll notice that when you do, I think the reason why we've gotten so far to this point, why we've progressed to the point of being aware of humanity, of individual differences, is because we have found them for ourselves individually. So it's about finding your uniqueness, finding what makes you different, what sets you apart from everybody else. Because, like I mentioned, in collectivistic cultures, they don't really try to speak up a lot. Again, this is very broad, this is very general. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, or that if you're from this culture that you have no voice, you just want to fit in and blend in. It's not that. It's just that they're the way that they view happiness and satisfaction is through getting along with other people. It's not from like being super assertive like individualistic cultures. There's good and bad to both of them. But I'm saying that from the age of Aquarius, if we fully go into that collectivistic mode, our voices can become kind of lost. And it starts to be that it can start to look like all we're doing is just promoting what someone else has already done. Like if you look at like posts, like on Twitter or Facebook or something, things that are like reshared, retweeted, all that stuff, it's like it's not really us, we're promoting something, like we agree with it, but if that's all we're doing is just retweeting, sharing, reposting something that someone else has already done, it's lost its like individual impact. It's because the person who created it, that's where the impact is. They started it. And it's kind of like this weird balance of, yeah, that's cool, everybody's promoting it, look how many retweets or likes or reposts it got. People are promoting what I'm saying. But if we go too far into just doing that and being what everybody else has already done, we lose sight of what made us unique within the group originally. I don't know if that made sense at all. My solar return has a Mercury-Neptune square, so lately my thoughts are just like, it makes sense in my head, I just don't know if I'm communicating it effectively or clearly, but comprehensively. But I just feel like a lot of what the Age of Aquarius, like a lot of the successes for the Age of Aquarius come from us, like the individual self-expression. And I think it's great to promote that, but it's also important to find what makes you unique, because I think when we start to explore that for ourselves and start to enhance that and promote ourselves, that's what is connecting us together, because more people will see it, if that makes sense. It's like if you have like a room full of students all together, you're all a group, you're all working towards the same thing. But if a teacher solely focuses on the group as a whole, she loses sight of what makes each of her students unique in their own way, and it's important for every individual to understand how important their piece is for the puzzle as a whole, for the entirety of the puzzle. So I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is that we're all puzzle pieces now, and I think that's what collectively we're starting to realize, for the age of Aquarius. We're starting to figure, we're seeing the puzzle clearly now. We're seeing that, everybody's a part of it. And it's just important to not lose sight of the Leo aspect of it that determines what is in each puzzle piece, each person, each creature, each life force on this planet, and the planet as a whole. If the planet, the earth itself, the universe, whatever, because it's Aquarius, so it's very broad. If the universe is like the entire puzzle, each piece is like the person that is creating the puzzle. So it's amazing that we can see the puzzle now. It's just, it's important to also think of the Leo aspect of ourselves individually, what we put into each piece of the puzzle, what we create for ourselves, that creates then the entire puzzle of the universe that we can see now. So yeah, those are just my thoughts for today. I hope that this was kind of interesting to you. Let me know what you think about the Age of Aquarius, about this idea of individualism and collectivism. Basically, just what I'm trying to get at is, I think that the Age of Aquarius is really about being an individual within the collective, kind of like tying these two cultural perspectives together. And yeah, let me know what you think about this, and thank you for watching.